Matson is determined to prove to her husband that he is the biological father of their 6-month-old daughter, accusing him of attempting to abandon the child. Mr. Matson alleges infidelity on her part throughout their marriage, casting doubts.
Because unlike him, I haven't cheated on him but once.
You want sympathy?
He has done nothing but lie about me to everyone. He's lied to me about everything. I have defended him through thick and thin. He's got his whole family hating me, and none of them even know me.
Big Daddy had a history of heart conditions and numerous operations. Claimed he was told by doctors that he cannot have children. He reacted with disbelief when Mrs. Matson announces her pregnancy. Mrs. Matson, seemingly insistent on proving the paternity, engages in the heated discussion, while Judge Lake endeavors to maintain order in the courtroom.
I have congestive heart failure. I had my first heart attack in 1997. I have a defibrillator. I've had many operations from then until now. Chances of me having kids are done. That's what I was told by my doctor.
You have been told that you cannot have children, you're sterile.
Yes.
No.
Mrs. Matson finds herself under scrutiny regarding the paternity of her red-haired daughter, given Mr. Matson's assertion of his supposed sterility. A tense exchange unfolds as both parents debate potential familial origins of the child's physical traits, such as red hair and blue eyes, amidst the courtroom.
The day that she was born, she comes out, she has red hair. I'm like, do I see red hair with you? I don't have red hair with me.
Irish have red hair. I don't have Irish. He's the one that has Irish blood in him. Irish people have red hair.
You contend that you have not been with any other man.
Not during this time frame, no.
Mrs. Matson questions potential baby daddy claim of having a vasectomy and being infertile due to historical heart conditions, highlighting inconsistencies in his story. Her skepticism stems from his revealed desire for children during their marriage and only learning of the vasectomy when she was 6 months pregnant.
When I first came down with this problem, I was on 38 pills a day. They control your heart rate, they control a lot. For the first 2.5, almost 3 years of this, I couldn't even have sex because of the pills, the reaction, what they would do to me.
When did you get the vasectomy, or did you have one?
That procedure would have been the third procedure, which was in 1999.
Despite Mr. Matson's claims of infertility, plaintiff insists he is the father of her unborn child. She asserts that his disbelief and revelation of supposed sterility only emerged 6 months into the pregnancy, contrary to his expressed desires for children earlier in their marriage, thus sparking skepticism about the veracity of his claims.
As soon as you tell him, what happens?
He didn't really have a response when I told him that I was pregnant. I came downstairs, I took a pregnancy test at home, I came downstairs.
I didn't have a response?
Not really, no.
I didn't fell off that couch. Remember I said, well,
No,
what is this and whose the hell is it?
No.
That's not a response?
And it wasn't until I was 6 months pregnant that he told me he couldn't have kids.
Mrs. Matson admits to infidelity due to her husband's neglect and suspicious relationship with his widowed boss. Judge Lake underlines the folly of expecting fidelity from a relationship that began with an affair. Trust issues and allegations of infidelity permeate their relationship, raising doubts regarding paternity and mutual respect.
Mr. Matson, you are the father.
Told you.
gotta
Now you
admit
can
that.
apologize to me because I'm not the you
Never
are.
apologize
You're nothing
to you.
but a
You need to
right.
keep your language down. Settle
And
down.
I'll tell you what, tomorrow I'll buy you a one flight, you can leave. Leave that baby here with me. I'll show you how to provide for her.
Miss Bowman asserts Mr. Stewart, who is deceased, is her daughter Keena's biological father, amid years of paternity deception involving another man, Mr. Watson. Keena and a relative of Mr. Stewart express skepticism and seek truth in court due to the damaged mother-daughter relationship and to clear Mr. Stewart's name, respectively.
I need to prove to her that her father is James Stewart and is deceased.
You say over the years you've lied to her.
Mr. Watson was her father. It all started when she was little. When I first met Mr. Stewart, I met him at a company that I worked with, and we started working, became friends and everything, real close. We became sexual.
Keena reveals a challenging period where she was separated from her mother and later learned the man she thought was her father, Mr. Watson, might not be. Her mother, Miss Bowman, introduced the possibility of a man named James Stewart being her father. a revelation that deeply strained their relationship.
I was forced to be taken out of my mother's house and go to his house where I had no contact with my mother. And then when I finally was able to go back around to my mother, she told me that he might not be my father and that James Stewart might be my father.
Ms. Bowman recalls an incident where Mr. Watson took Kalina, triggering a paternity test, which showed he was not the father. Despite connections pointing towards Mr. Stewart as the potential father, Kalina struggles to trust her mother due to the years of deceit and unverified claims about her paternity.
Mr. Watson had recently got married, and his wife, she told him, "That's your child, you go get him." So he literally walked up in my house, and yes, he did come in there and take her. I wasn't there. He told me, "Well, since you want to sit up here and say this ain't my daughter, prove it." I turned around and I went downtown and I requested a paternity test.
Lillian Jane Watson, Mr. Watson's mother, testifies, never doubting her son was Keena's father due to a letter from Miss Bowman confirming it. She asserts that Keena spent most of her life living with her, and Lillian provided for her, indicating a complex family dynamics and intricate relationships within this situation.
Did you ever have doubts that your son was Kalina's father?
No.
Never. Explain.
Her mother left a letter saying that my son was the father. She had other 3 kids, so I told her she didn't have to worry about my granddaughter. I'll do everything that's possible for her, and I did.
Miss Bowman admits to fabricating a letter asserting Mr. Watson was Keena's father because she was in love with him and wanted to keep him by believing he was the father. This revelation underscores how emotions and desires can complicate and weave deceptive narratives in familial relationships, revealing that intentional deceit was utilized to manipulate perceptions of paternity.
James Stewart and Kalina Bowman are related.
It's over. Oh, man.
We have a 13-month-old mystery to unravel here, and a relationship that's on the line because of it. Baby mama's desperation was as clear as day. She wanted the defendant to be the baby daddy. While he wanted that too, the doubts, on the other hand, were a real villain in this twisted love story.
I feel that Jerry is the best choice.
So you are admitting that there are other possibilities?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Khan has developed a relationship with your son?
Yes, they have a very good bond.
And Mr. Khan, I can see the tears in your eyes as you look at Bentley. I can see. And you really love this baby.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's shed some light on the dynamics of this relationship. It appears these guys have been together for 6 long years and then split ways. Miss Walker then took a decision, which now she heavily regrets. On again, off again, combined with a special entry. And there you go. Paternity Disaster 101.
What is it about Miss Walker you love?
I've loved her since day one. We were working together, and I've just been with her since then.
I can see that means something to you to hear that. It makes you emotional?
Yes.
Because you know he loves you very much.
Yes, Your Honor. I hate that we split ways. He was my soulmate.
And so there's a lot riding on today's results.
Yes, Your Honor.
Fast forward to pregnancy. Miss Walker got to know the joyous news and thought of it at first. However, the doctor's visit dashed all her hopes, and the alarm bells started ringing like crazy. Well, that's what happens when you have your cake and eat it too, woman.
My father was in the hospital. I was in a very emotional state of mind, and we hooked up, and then I found out my father passed and immediately went to his aid, or whenever I got back home, she wasn't there, so I just figured she went back to the other guy.
So you left again, Miss Walker?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now we're getting to the juicy part. Oh yeah. So mommy had a habit of running away from problems. Can't blame her though, because wait till you hear the mess she walked right into. She told the other guy this new development, and cue the reaction, folks.
They tell you your date of conception is November 17th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did they give you a window, or did they just tell you this was the date?
That was the date.
So they could pinpoint it that much?
Yes.
And that made you nervous. You said you started panicking.
Yes.
Why?
Because I knew I'd been with both men on that date.
Okay, so now things got complicated. Well, Miss Walker was going places in one day, but now it was time to drop the bomb on Mr. Khan. The confusion and desperation were as real as they could be, man. On top of that, Mommy stayed with the other guy all this time. Seriously?
So this other man is the father, the legal father listed on Bentley's birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
But even though you weren't there for the birth and you didn't sign the birth certificate and the other man signed the birth certificate, you stepped up and been a father to Bentley all this time?
Whenever she needed me, I was there for her. Or whenever he needed me, I was there for him.
Baby mama was in utter despair. It was pouring out of her how much she wanted this baby daddy. And now that her dirty laundry was aired all out in the open, she was hoping against hope for positive results. So much so that a medical history of father and son came right along.
Are you just hoping the baby is Mr. Khan's?
Yes.
Or do you believe it? That's two different things.
I'm hoping, because that's what's best for my son. There's been a couple times Jerry was diagnosed with scoliosis. He's had back surgery. There's been times where Bentley's been playing, and whenever the light hits his back, it almost looks like he might have it.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Well, that's what this scoliosis felt like. And now that the professional opinion proved that it might be quite a possibility for the defendant to be the baby daddy, hope was lit. Fingers are still crossed though.
So at his age, it would be very difficult to diagnose.
Because he's just 13 months.
Because he's only 13 months. That being said, in twin studies, it shows us that 38% of those cases are inherited from a parent.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
That is huge.
We've reached the climax, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time for the most favorite part. The relationship was in deep trouble, and man, did I feel for these guys. Oh, how I hope these guys get to hear those 4 magical words.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Khan, you are not the father. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
Miss Jackson, the wife, brought the mistress of her husband to court. Yeah, you heard that one right. The epic battle of wife versus mistress was about to be commenced. The stakes? Well, if she's wrong, her marriage was a goner.
I feel as though there's something going on because he had been distant in the days prior to. I had put him out. Your Honor, and as we were standing outside talking, we were in the front of the building, and the defendant pops up in the car like she's Ricky Raccoon or somebody. She introduced herself as his girlfriend. I said, well, hi, girlfriend, because I'm his wife.
Well, the interesting confrontation was still going strong. Oh, yes. Miss Jackson wasn't investigating, and her finding revealed that the sordid affair had been going on for some time. Wow. However, the real liar was the baby daddy. Man, oh man, what a player!
She was always labeled as my BM, which is my baby mother. BM does not spell wife. Wife is spelled W-I-F-E. Okay. So it didn't dawn on me to ask, are you married now? Because if you're married now, why have you been living in a room for 3 to 4 months? And I have a key to your room. 3 to 4 months. I got clothes in your room. I'm in your room every day, every night.
Your Honor, in his room.
So the wife suspected foul play when the baby mama claimed her baby was from a prior marriage. However, the two fought like savages. So much so, the missus sent her mister to jail. Yep, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, indeed.
Yes, I sent him to jail because I knew that he had some legal issues going on in another state. The next morning, I go to the room to find Miss Lipscomb laying in the bed crying.
I told you I was going back to the room. You was in the car talking to me. I have belongings at that room. I'm going back to that room, and I will not leave that room.
All right.
About time. The real perpetrator graced the court with his vindictive presence. Oh, his lies were about to get classic returns, man. But check out the nerve of this dude, man. He openly accepted playing both women without any ounce of remorse.
You never told her you were married.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, you are the perpetrator of this mess. I didn't believe for 1 minute that she didn't really know you were married until you sat down in this chair and confirmed the lie.
I didn't tell her no lie. I just didn't never mention it to her. She never asked.
Anything less than the whole truth is a lie.
So the $1 million question is, was it really over between these guys? Mr. Jackson got to know about the pregnancy while in jail. However, the wife had other cards up her sleeve. As it was revealed, Mommy was dealing with another fella as well. Oh dear, now that's a juggler right there.
From my standpoint, it's a community baby. It's anybody's baby because she's community
It
share
ain't
property.
yours. It ain't
Your
yours,
Honor.
so I don't understand why
Thank
you're
God,
worried
Your
about it.
Honor. I went out.
So hold on now. Let me just read this. I'm alive and healthy, and a lot of people don't make it to C27. It would be a blessing for me. I love you all, and I'm really missing my man.
Apparently, the baby daddy was at the birth and did all the daddy duties. He even signed the birth certificate. But guess what? The baby was on the wife's military benefits. And to make it more complicated, like it wasn't enough, the dear wife was expecting now. Can't keep it in their pants for once. Dear God.
Miss Lipscomb, are you still in a relationship with him too?
It's we friends. It's iffy. It's whatever. We're friends.
But he's married, Your Honor. She just
So,
made the point of
and?
saying, see, she's saying, and Your Honor, she just
And
made
I
the
am,
point
and
of
I'm gonna
saying,
continue to say
I'm
it.
not the type of person that will break up a happy home.
Oh, your home was
married.
already broke
Why
up, and
you
your home
stepping
was not
in?
happy when I
She
came
told
into
me,
the
Your
picture.
Honor,
Your home
maybe
was broke
about
up, and it
2
wasn't
weeks
happy
ago.
then.
Oh, the baby daddy was just asking for trouble. He had seen the fury of his wife. But what he hadn't seen was the wrath of Judge Lake. And man, it's frightening. After thoroughly schooling him, the judge asked a last question to him, which she already knew the answer to.
I'm not your wife. I want to answer.
It's like you say.
Are you gonna raise the baby? Now you this baby's legal father and sitting up here and I ask you, are you gonna raise her 3 times? You ain't answered me yet, 2 feet away. Come on. This is how it all mixes up to create an absolute nightmare for a gorgeous little girl.
It's beautiful.
Well, the final chunk was here, and it was a nail biter. Who's the real father of Keasia? That was the question of the day. After all the drama, secrecy, and deceit, the truth was ready to be revealed.
When it comes to 1-month-old Keasia Jackson, Mr. Jackson, you are not the father. Now it's not even her husband's child. After all of this.
Miss Dixon was out for revenge. She's on a mission to prove that her husband, Stephen, fathered their daughter, Tayana. Straight from the couples court, these guys landed in the middle of the paternity court. Apparently, the dear old wife had trouble remaining faithful in marriage.
Miss Dixon, you are furious that your husband Stephen denies he fathered your daughter, Tanea. You believe because you cheated in the past, he is holding previous mistakes against you. You plan to prove paternity today, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, what was at stake? The future of their marriage, of course. By the looks of it, the husband had a habit of wandering off for certain periods of time, and during one particular time, he came home to a rather unpleasant welcoming sight. In front of the house, nonetheless.
Coming home from work, and there's this car in the parking lot. When I approached,
Can I say something? The reason for me cheating and when I did it, it wasn't.
There is no reason.
It wasn't.
There's
It
no
wasn't.
good-
Okay, it wasn't right. I was intentionally trying to hurt him, so I was not trying to hide that I was cheating. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, the missus certainly pushed the boundaries of fidelity when she got caught red-handed. But now she was caught in a web of doubt and betrayal, as Mr. Stephen can't shake the suspicion that the timing of her pregnancy doesn't quite add up. Was she trying to trap him? Or is there another man in the picture? Oh, so many questions.
Take me back to that day.
The due dates from the time I conceived her to the time they said I was due, I didn't sleep with him. That was a one night. That was a one-time thing.
Okay, but that's all it takes.
Yep. Yeah, that's
You
true.
know that.
That's true.
So you had sex with this guy one time out in front of the house.
Yeah.
Was it protected?
No.
Well, the little roadside rendezvous was worth a lot of trouble now, and Mommy threw caution out of the window too when she decided to take that step. But now the doubts escalated to the point where the baby daddy was suspecting even his brother. Yeah, and the witness wasted no moment to back it up.
Miss Cooper,
What's your motive?
explain to the court. You believe that Miss Dixon was being intimate with her husband's brother?
She clearly cheated. He's gone. What is
Okay.
if he's still there when he's
Look,
gone? Why is he
look.
still there? I'm gonna take my brother with me.
cheating and then me sleeping with someone whose blood related to him. What characteristics have I shown you as you being my auntie?
So, who's the daddy confusion continued as the brother stepped up to the podium. Well, he just straight up denied any and all involvement with the baby mama. However, the results would be the judge of that. but the doubts have plagued and torn this marriage apart.
We have times where we're good and where we at a steady float, and then it'll take something as small as that don't have nothing to do with the baby or anything, and he'll go off. But I know what it's about. I know why. That's why I decided to come here, to just get this out of the way.
Well, we are deep into this paternity ride, and the only way down was to get to the results. It was truth time. One thing's for sure, the future of their marriage depended seriously on these results. Here goes nothing.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Chris, you are not the father. Mr. Hunt, how do you feel about hearing that news?
This is great. I mean, I love my brother. I just needed to know and get that out of the way.
Miss Funzie brought the defendant to court because apparently she was tired of his sister brewing up trouble for them. Yeah. However, Mr. Irving claimed the woman herself broke them apart. Interesting start to this fiasco.
My family's on the line. I love Jordan. We've been dating going on 7 years and been dating since the 10th grade. And the denying that he has towards my 1-month-old child, in which we play in the house together, is causing problems with our relationship.
She did that. She did that to herself.
So by the looks of it, our lovebirds were playing the tit-for-tat game. Well, that blew up in their face, didn't it? They've got a history of cheating, revenge, and now a baby in the mix. Way to make the mess even messier, people.
Would you have told him about the cheating?
Yes, I was gonna come clean to him at the right time because we was already going through.
When was the right time?
Because he came to me when he had told me he cheated, and I would feel like I should come to him because I cheated.
Oh boy, shade was being thrown left and right. And there was more. Yep, it seemed the plaintiff was up to no good when she handed the ultrasound reports to the baby daddy, and he caught on to it. Uh-oh, giving more ammunition to the sister, are we?
I didn't know if she was pregnant by me or someone else.
Because you were concerned about the date.
Yes.
But it should have been on the paperwork.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't understand the paperwork, though.
It was simple. I didn't write nothing. That's not my handwriting. The lady's signature on there.
She scribbled over it. She scribbled over it and wrote what she wanted on the paperwork.
So our baby mama spilled all the beans. And boy, that would have been uncomfortable as heck. However, the baby daddy still went along and signed the birth certificate. And the sister wasn't happy with that decision. No shock there.
If you got doubt, don't sign that birth certificate because whether that's your child or not, you're gonna have, that's acknowledging, hey, I'm gonna be there for this child for 18 years. That's my child.
Yes, it is. An acknowledgement of paternity.
Better prepare yourselves, folks, because the baby mama was about to be caught in a few more lies. Yep. Evidently, she hadn't told the other guy about the daddy possibility. However, the court tracked him down and got a statement. And boy, was that an eye-opener of epic proportions.
First time me and her had sex, she came over and saw me. We had sex in Jordan's car.
That's a
did use protection.
Fake page. That's
you said
Jordan, that's a lie. You know that.
Hold on, let me finish the statement.
Why is you lying to me?
Jordan, I'm not lying to you.
If this not my baby, I'm through with this relationship.
That's fine. That's fine.
That on it.
Oh boy. Amidst all that chaos, the birthday of the baby becomes a question mark, because that really shortened the pregnancy if we were to take the word of the baby mama. And that was the final straw, as one more lie of hers came out in the open. My God, woman.
If your relationship with this other man was in October or November.
It was in November.
Well, that would have been a 7-month pregnancy. Did you have sex with this other man more than one time?
It was more than one time.
You go get it. You lied. You lied to me.
And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for. Yep, the results were in. The father's identity remained shrouded in secrecy, leaving us hanging like a season finale cliffhanger. But no worries, because Judge Lake was about to deliver the verdict.
The biological father is Mr. Winfield.
I know what I told you. My mama went to the hospital when she had that baby and said, that is not my son's child.